everyone. Welcome back to my kitchen. So my name is Mindy Banks. I'm the Flip Flop Chef, and I'm so excited that you guys are here with me tonight. If you haven't already introduced yourself in the chat, let me know where you're watching from tonight. And if you happen to be catching the replay later, let me know where you're watching from then, and let me know that you're watching the replay. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am so excited to share how you can make 4 meals out of 1 rotisserie chicken. We're gonna talk a little bit more about some of the details in just a minute, but I do have some prizes to give away, have some specials, and of course I'm gonna be giving away the deluxe coffee machine later on in the week. So stay tuned for a little bit more details on that. If you are just popping in, make sure you go to the top of the live chat so that you can find the link to shop, the link that has all of our recipes, and make sure you're logged in to your Google account. If you're not logged into a Google account, you're not going to be able to leave comments during the live, and you actually can't leave comments at any time if you're not logged in to a Google account, which is what you use to log into YouTube. So if you're like, I don't know if I have a Google account, if you're logged in on YouTube, you have a Google account and you're ready to go. So make sure you're leaving comments. I'm going to check the comments at the end of the party tonight, and I'll answer any questions that you have. I'll do my best to not overlook anything. I'll have to scroll through all of your comments at the end, but we are gonna go ahead and get started. So if this is the first time that you're watching, make sure after the party tonight that you go to theflipflopchef.com and click the button at the top of the page to join my recipe community. I know a lot of you watching are already in that group and you keep up with me there, but let's go ahead and talk about the 2 prize winners we have for people who pre-registered for tonight's event. I have a special recruiting offer for somebody out there who's interested in joining Pampered Chef, and then I'll tell you about the specials for when you shop tonight. So the prize winners, the first person is going to get a tortilla soup mix and a minestrone soup mix. And so the winner of the soup mixes is Elizabeth Capuano. And Elizabeth, I will drop these in the mail to you this week. So I hope that you will enjoy those. I don't know if you've tried those before or not, but I hope you enjoy them when you do try them. The next thing I want to share, if you are watching this and you're thinking about starting a business with Pampered Chef, if you would like to join right away and you would like to get a 25% discount, I have a discount code to share with one person. So if there are multiple people in the chat who want that, I'll put everybody's name in and I will do a drawing, and I'll be happy to share that code with you so that you can start your business for 25% off. The next prize winner is Carolyn Smith, and Carolyn is going to get the June Taste Buds box, and so I will drop this in the mail to you this week, Carolyn. In this box is our Tuscan style herb chicken mix, the all-purpose dill mix, and the exclusive hummus dip mix. And so you'll get all of those, Carolyn, so I will pop those in the mail to you as well. And hope you guys are excited about it. I'm sorry, I feel like I have a frog in my throat here. Set those out of the way. Next, I want to tell you guys what the specials are. So obviously this is a party where you can shop, and you're able to get into the drawing for the deluxe coffee maker, which I have back there. Hopefully you guys have been seeing some of the videos that I have been sharing, but when you shop the party, you're going to be entered to win. And if you shop tonight, you're going to double your chances of winning. So when you spend $90 or more, you're going to be able to choose in the checkout the kernel cutter or the corn butterer as your free gift. So $90 or more, you're going to be able to choose one of these. The kernel cutter is used to remove the corn kernels from a corn cob. The corn butterer is what you put a half a stick of butter in, and it actually is so that you can actually butter your corn when it is nice and hot instead of trying to rub that on with a butter knife, okay? So those are the 2 prizes that you get to choose from when your order is $90 or more. Now, when you spend $120, you're going to also get, in addition to your choice of the kernel cutter or the corn butterer, you're going to get our burger and slider press. So if you haven't seen this, it's really cool. One piece is for making sliders, and then when you pop this out, you have a larger piece so that you can actually make your burgers. So this is pretty cool. So if you're not familiar with this product, definitely check it out on our website, but it's free with an order of $120 or more. So I'm gonna set that aside for now, and then we're gonna dive right in. So let me tell you what we're gonna make tonight. I'm gonna show you how to make chicken tortilla soup. We're gonna make chicken quesadillas. We're also gonna make 2 of my mom's recipes tonight. She's actually the inspiration for this video today. We're gonna make chicken chip bake and chicken pot pie. So 4 recipes from 1 rotisserie chicken. So my mom inspired me to have this theme tonight, and I'll tell you why. I've heard her tell the story for years about how in the 80s, when times were really, really hard, grocery prices were high, everybody was struggling, and one of her friends called her up and she was like, Janice, please tell me how you make 4 meals out of 1 chicken. And so she told her how to make 4 meals out of 1 chicken, and I'm gonna teach you how to do that today too. Now, my mom wanted to make sure that I shared the tip that after you take all the meat off the bones, you can actually either boil or pressure cook all the bones, and you can make a really great chicken stock. I didn't do that today, but that's a great idea to get a little bit more out of that chicken. Now, I purchased this at Sam's Club, and the chickens there are $4.98, and they're already cooked. So when you get ready to make your dinner, what is the hardest part of preparing the meal? It's the meat, right? So if you've got to cook the meat, and if you've got to thaw out the meat, that just adds so much more time to your prep. So I've gotten into the habit of just buying a rotisserie chicken. I go to Sam's Club about once a week, and I grab a rotisserie chicken when I'm there because it's great on those busy nights. We go ahead and pull off the meat off the bones right away, and I put it in one of our leak-proof storage containers. So here's 1 rotisserie chicken on the bones and 1 that I've already pulled off. Now, if you missed the video earlier, I shared a really short reel earlier showing you how to pull off the chicken off the meat off the bones using a Ziploc bag. So this is 8 1/4 cups of chicken that came from 1 rotisserie chicken. So, I mean, that right there is just amazing, right? So I'm gonna set this one aside because we're not gonna use this. This is really just for demonstration purposes. I didn't wanna take time live to pull the meat off the bones. I wanted it to all be ready. I've done quite a bit of prep work so that we can just go through these 4 recipes really quickly. So let me set this aside, get it out of the way, and then we will get started on our recipe. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm actually going to separate this into 4 portions so that I have the chicken already ready to go. So we're gonna make our chicken tortilla soup first. So I'm gonna get that started in just a second. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take about 2 cups of chicken for each recipe. So this is gonna be for our quesadillas. So there's a reason I have it in that bowl. So just stay tuned for more on that because we're gonna make quesadillas. I believe we're gonna do that one at the very, very end using the deluxe grill and griddle. And I hope I plugged that in. If not, I'll have to go around to the side. I think I propped it up, but let's get this sectioned out so that we have at least 2 cups of chicken for each of the 4 recipes, right? So let's get this in this one. And if you're not familiar with our leak-proof containers, one of these bowls, by the way, is 3 cups, so I'm not filling it all the way full. These leak-proof containers are my favorite. I love using them to store all of our leftovers. We use these for yogurt and jelly and leftovers from dinner. They seal on all 4 sides or lock on all 4 sides, and then there's a seal under the lid that fits around the rim. These are sold as a set, and they come in 3 sizes. We have a 3-cup square, I think it's 5 3/4 cup rectangle, and then this 8 1/4 cup rectangle. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my grill. I propped this up, so I thought I did that, but I didn't plug it in, so let me do that. When I was prepping, I didn't want anyone or any dog to trip over this, so yeah, there we go. I'll leave that off because I'm gonna do that at the end, but I wanted to make sure that it was ready for me. So I have chicken ready for 4 meals. I'm actually gonna put a little bit of this in here, and that's pretty even for our recipes. So I'm gonna set these aside. Now, you can cook your chicken any way that you want, and you can use this method of taking a whole chicken and cooking it, but I just like using the rotisserie because the cooking is the part that takes the most time. I know some of you watching are like, why didn't you just cook it in your air fryer? So let's talk about that. Yes, I can cook a rotisserie chicken in my air fryer. The problem is some stores don't have the right size chicken, because if one is too heavy, then it's gonna be hard for you to put it on there. It's gonna be too heavy. It's not gonna rotate the right way, but that takes time, right? And I cannot buy a whole chicken for $4.98 raw. So why would I buy it raw when I can already buy it cooked, right? So I know you guys are probably thinking, yeah, I would do that too. All right, so we're gonna get our tortilla soup ready to go. Let me dry off this countertop so this doesn't get on my burner. But I've got our rock crock Dutch oven here, and this is such an easy recipe. So if you are prepping this all at one time, this would be a great recipe to eat the first night because it's gonna be nice and hot. The other recipes, the 2 casseroles, the chicken chip bake and the chicken pot pie, I'm not gonna cook those tonight. I'm gonna put them in the fridge or the freezer and then cook them at a later time. So because this one is being cooked the very first night when I'm prepping all of this, this is a great first meal of the 4, right? So we're gonna do a container. So this is the equivalent of like 4 cans, 32 ounces there. And the 4 cans or 2 cans? Now I'm questioning. I never buy the cans anymore. I'm gonna add 1 of Pampered Chef's tortilla soup mix. If you've never tried this mix, I hope you will. It's delicious. Now the recipe on the package, it says to use the broth and the water, and I do swap the amounts. So it says to use 4 cups of water, 2 cups of broth. I use 4 cups of broth, 2 cups of water. And that's all of this recipe right here from Pampered Chef. I feel like it needs a little bit more. So we're gonna add some more things into it, but for right now, I'm gonna give this a quick stir, and I'm gonna put it on this burner behind me, and I'm gonna let it simmer and get nice and warm. Let's see. There we go. Now, so I don't forget, this is the Rock slow cooker stand. This is a great product to transfer your Rock from your stovetop into the slow cooker base to keep it warm. Now, I'm not gonna need to keep it warm because I'm not gonna finish this till like 9 o'clock tonight, so I'm sure Keith and Christian will probably eat some of this, but most of it's gonna go in the fridge and we'll eat it later on. But if you're making it earlier in the day, you wanna put it in here to keep it warm till dinner. It's a perfect product for that. So this is the Rock slow cooker stand, and this is the lid. I'm gonna set these aside just to give me more space to work with here. And we're just gonna let that get nice and hot. Now, in the meantime, we're going to get all the other toppings ready to go in our soup. So I'm gonna add a can of whole kernel corn and a can of tomatoes. And with our chicken, we're actually gonna season it before we put it into the soup, just to give it a little bit more flavor. So if you're worried about, well, how can I season the chicken the way that I want it for the specific recipe? You can season chicken after it's cooked. So don't feel like you have to have, a certain flavor. At Sam's, they're just like plain. They don't really have, they might put salt and pepper on it, but they're not like lemon pepper or anything like that. I know some of their stores have that, but at Sam's, they're all the same flavor, at least at my Sam's. So we're gonna take this can of whole kernel corn. I like to start at the front of the can. If you've never seen this can opener before, it's pretty cool. You press this up against the edge, you start turning it, and if you can't pick it up, then it's not connected the right way. Then you're gonna twist all the way around until you bypass your starting point, and you'll feel the tension release a little bit, and then you turn counterclockwise. You'll get to see me do this again for the tomatoes. Now I know I'm right by my sink, but so that you guys can see this, you can strain from this small stainless steel colander right into the small plastic mixing bowl. So I'm gonna dump the corn in there, and then I'm gonna dump this off in the sink, and then I'm gonna set this aside. Now, this is the diced tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and open them up, and I'm gonna just pour them in when all of that mixture is nice and hot. So this recipe is super quick and easy, so I wanted to start with this one because that broth and water needs to heat up. So I'm just gonna set this nearby, and I'll add that in. Hopefully I'll remember to do that on camera. If I forget, just know that's what I'm gonna do later. We're gonna take I thought I brought my measuring spoons out, but I did not. We're gonna take this chicken, and I'm gonna actually add a couple tablespoons of our carnitas slow cooker seasoning, and I'm gonna just put a tiny bit of water. I mean, like just a little squirt of water right there, and I'm just gonna mix this together. If you wanted to shred this even more, we're gonna do that when we make our quesadillas in just a minute, but I just want it to have enough water just to help that seasoning stick to the chicken, and then we're gonna put this chicken into the soup. So we have flavored this one with our carnitas slow cooker seasoning. So all of this is ready to go there. I'm gonna switch recipes real quick, so let me grab another one here. Let's see if I can do this in one trip, right? Without knocking it over. The next one we're gonna make is chicken pot pie. And this is one of my mom's recipes. So this is like a little peek into my childhood, right? So you're gonna love this recipe. It's so easy. My mom makes her own pie crust. I probably should post that recipe somewhere, but I cheat and I buy Aldi pie crust, and I'm gonna use half of a box, so just one crust tonight. And you wanna let this come to room temperature. Hopefully I've timed it pretty well so that it'll be the right temperature when I'm ready to use it. We're gonna use one of the plastic mixing bowls. You'll notice I'm using the set of 3 here. I love this set and highly recommend it. So for this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix everything together, and I actually forgot that I need this colander again. So I'm gonna transfer the corn now that it's drained. Actually, I'll just transfer it into this bowl. And I'll give this colander a little rinse because we're gonna drain, I don't even need to rinse it because we're going to drain our can of veg-all. So if you don't know what veg-all is, it's 7-in-1 mixed vegetables, and I'm gonna just use the can opener again. You attach it on the front of the can, twist all the way around, and then counterclockwise to take it off. I'm gonna drain this one in the sink because I need to mix this in that bowl. So I'm gonna give this a shake, and then I'm gonna transfer it into this mixing bowl right here, okay? Now, get a scraper. Now I have all these fun color scrapers, so if you're curious about the different colors, those are either things we sold in the past or things I've earned as a consultant, so we only have the white ones at the time of this video. Oh, I keep wanting to put the can opener away, but we're gonna keep using it. We're gonna add a can of cream of potato soup and a can of cream of chicken soup. So I'll show you this again. You're gonna see the can opener a lot tonight because we're using cream of chicken soup in 2 recipes, and then we use this a lot of canned vegetables. So we're gonna open these. Remember to leave questions in the chat. So I will take some time at the end to answer those. And something I didn't mention earlier is that, or I think I mentioned if you order tonight, then you're gonna double your chances in the drawing. And once I get to 25 orders, then I'll be giving away that coffee machine, which we always get there, so I know that we will. And if you don't order tonight, you have until the 25th to get your order in. So cream of chicken, cream of potato. Now, another thing, if you don't like using creamed soups that you buy in a can, you can make them yourself. So I actually have a recipe in my recipe community that tells you how to make cream of chicken soup. So when I make it homemade, I just skip the cream of potato and I just use extra cream of chicken, and I make that on the stovetop. It's pretty easy, but tonight I wanted to show you guys just how fast you can pull something together with that rotisserie chicken. And so I don't forget, we're gonna add this. I may not use all of it. I'm gonna stir some of it in. I tend to measure a lot with my heart, even though I'm giving you guys the full recipe here. And my mom's measurements are 2 cups of chicken, and I think I will add the rest of that in there. And we're gonna add some milk, some pepper, some thyme, and I'm gonna use Pampered Chef's 3 onion rub. My mom just uses dehydrated minced onions. So we're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. And if you have the exclusive, is it thyme and garlic? I can't remember. Seasoning that we have from the taste buds, you can certainly use that instead. We're gonna do pepper, and that was also 1/2 teaspoon. And then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of 3 onion rub, or you could use dehydrated onions, and 1/2 cup of milk. And I'm gonna mix this up. Her recipe is so quick and easy, but you guys, it is delicious. So Keith and Christian especially like my mom's casserole recipes. Connor's pretty picky. He likes just grilled chicken and he doesn't want it mixed into anything. He would eat the plain chicken, but he doesn't like casseroles. So he's out of luck here. All right, so this is what our mixture looks like. Pretty easy, right? Now, if you have a big family, you can double this recipe and even put a crust on the bottom and use the round, stoneware round baker for this. So double the mixture and you can make it in here. I'm gonna make it in our pie plate. So this is the stoneware pie plate. Just gonna pour this in and we're gonna unroll that crust right on the top. And if you wanna add a bottom crust to this, you certainly can. But for her recipe, I'm just gonna do a single crust. So I'm just gonna sort of spread this around. If you guys like chicken pot pie, let me know in the comments. I always like to hear what you guys think. And I love that they've made these easier now. They have a little parchment paper piece on here. So you can actually keep it on the parchment and just lay it on the top like this. Makes it really, really easy. I am not good at making a real pretty crust, so my mom makes beautiful, beautiful pie crusts. I just pretend to do as good as her when I make her recipes. Her pies are always perfect. I don't know if my mom is watching, but if you are, I love you, Mom. Thanks for sharing all these recipes with us. So I just kind of go around and pinch this a little bit. You could make it more fancy if you know how. I just do it this way. So I'm gonna go all the way around here, and I just kind of make it a little scalloped edge. And then we're gonna take our quick cut paring knife, and I'm just gonna poke some holes in here. And if you didn't catch this at the beginning, I posted at the very beginning of the chat tonight links to shop and links to the recipes. So this is the chicken pot pie. It's going to go in the oven for 30 to 45 minutes at 425. But I'm not cooking this tonight, so I'm just gonna set it aside, and I'll probably put this one in the freezer. I don't know if we'll eat this one this week or not. So let me set this over here. We're already on recipe number 3. Are you guys excited? I can't wait to read the comments in the chat. So this next recipe, I'm gonna stir this, by the way. It's starting to get hot. It's starting to steam a little bit. All right, chicken chip bake. This recipe has become a favorite around here. Keith is like, you can make this anytime. And so he's really excited that we're gonna have this probably tomorrow for dinner. So we're not gonna put the crackers on the top. Now her recipe is called chicken chip bake, and she uses plain potato chips. And I almost never have plain potato chips. I have used barbecue chips, but one time I used these Ritz toasted crisps, and I love these so much that I've gone to using this instead of using potato chips. But you could use either one that you like. And since I'm not cooking this tonight, I'm gonna wait until I cook it to top it with the crackers. But we're gonna get everything ready. I'm gonna be able to cover it in foil and put it in the fridge to cook it later. So for this recipe, we need 2 cups of chicken. So I'm gonna just toss this in here. See how easy it is when you measure out the chicken first? We have everything that we need. And I'm gonna just separate some of this chicken. A couple of those pieces are clumped together. And for this one, we're also gonna add a cream of chicken soup, and we're gonna add some mayonnaise. So let me get another scraper. I have a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. This is in our small measure-all cup. If you're not familiar with these, you just pull the plunger down to the measurement you want, pack it with the ingredients, press it over the bowl and scrape it off. And the other side has a side for liquids. So I did a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. We're gonna do 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Then we're gonna chop up some celery. We're gonna add that, and I'm looking at the wrong recipe. I need to get that one out of the way. That's the chicken pot pie. I should be able to do both of these in my sleep, but whenever I'm doing live videos, I like to have the recipes handy because it's really easy to forget something. So we're gonna add cream of chicken soup, and then we're gonna add some cooked spaghetti. Well, she uses spaghetti. I always have like fettuccine or linguine or angel hair. So whatever pasta you have is really fine. So I did go ahead and cook that ahead of time. So right now we have our chicken, our mayonnaise, cream of chicken soup, and I'm gonna take our tongs. And by the way, I cooked this over 2 hours ago, this pasta, and it has been in our insulated bowl. It's still nice and hot. And I'm probably not going to use all of this. Her recipe calls for about 4 ounces. I tend to measure with my heart. I always cook more than I need because you never know what other recipe I might want to make. But you remember I said Connor doesn't like casseroles very much. He'll eat the plain pasta. He'll put salt and pepper or garlic parmesan on there, and he'll cook that. He'll eat that with some chicken. So we're going to put a little bit more in here, and I love these chef's tongs. Perfect. So we'll get this all mixed together. It's nice and creamy, so you guys can see what I'm working with there. And then I will save this pasta. You will probably eat that when we get finished. Now I had the foil out because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to tell you that you could freeze these if you're not cooking them right away. But just like I mentioned earlier, if you're gonna freeze or wait or refrigerate before you cook the chicken chip bake, wait until the very end before you put it in the oven to add in, to add the chips on the top, okay? All right, let me get my cutting mat here and dry my counter so this won't slip and slide around. And I've got some celery, and you guys probably know this already, but I love the store and serve containers. They're amazing. I actually almost didn't have enough for what I needed in my fridge this week. And so I can't tell you enough how much I like these. So I've got our celery. I'm just gonna cut this into some smaller pieces, and I'm gonna put it into our manual food processor. If you haven't seen this before, I love this chopper. You have a 3-cup capacity container. You have 3 blades. I don't know if you can tell, but they're at different levels. And so it doesn't mash your food, it chops it, and it just does such a great job. And you do need to put a little elbow grease into it, right? Not really elbow grease, but you gotta put force in it. If you just do this, it's not gonna go anywhere. You gotta get it started, push down, and then like keep it going, okay? So you want that handle to come almost all the way up and push down. It has ridges on the inside of the cup that sort of shift the food around. And then you can check your desired consistency. I like to chop this really fine. Christian doesn't like seeing the green pieces. He says he thinks he doesn't like celery. So you just chop it up extra. All right, so I'm gonna scrape this off, put that in there, and then this is dishwasher safe except for the lid. So I recommend that you put this on the top rack of the dishwasher and then flip this over on the top. So I'm gonna scrape this in, and oops, I don't want to cut myself on this later. And make sure that you don't submerge that lid for the manual food processor in water, because it will fill up with water and then you'll have to turn it upside down for like a while. 3 days maybe, to get all the water out. So I want to help you avoid that. All right, let me go ahead and turn my grill on. I'm going to set this to the grill setting. I have the grill plates in here so you guys can see. It takes about 5 minutes for that to heat up. We're gonna do our chicken quesadillas last, and they're the easiest and the fastest, so I hope you get excited about that. All right, I have 2 kinds of cheese here because we need some for the chicken chip bake and some for the quesadillas, but it doesn't really matter which one you use for which. My mom's recipe, I think, just calls for she just says cheese, or I have cheese on there. I use some form of cheddar, medium, mild, sharp, or sometimes I use Colby Jack, which is what I have in the other container. Again, these are our store and serve containers. I think I have 8 of them, and they're almost all, I don't think I have a clean one left in the drawer now. So I just really, really like them. All right, so I've got this all mixed together. I'm gonna use our stoneware square baker for this. This is the perfect size. If you want to double this recipe for a large family, you can put it in a rectangular baker. All right. I'm telling you, if you pick any recipe from tonight to make first, do this one. It's my favorite of what we're making. All right. Let me get all this in there. And we're going to put some cheese on the top. And I definitely use more cheese than my mom, because I love cheese, and if a little's good, a lot's better. My dad taught me that when I was practicing my before my very first Pampered Chef demonstration. I started to measure the cheese, and he told me not to measure it. He said if a little's good, a lot's better, and he was right. So that's been my motto for over 25 years. So now I have the cheese on the top. This is ready to go in the oven except for the crackers that I'm gonna put on the top. So let me set this aside, and then we're gonna make our quesadillas. So let me bring all of this over here. I'm doing a lot of switching around, but we're almost done. Okay, so for our quesadillas, let's get all of this here. We're gonna make a chimichurri sauce. If you have the chimichurri seasoning, if you haven't tried the sauce, it's amazing. So we're gonna mix that first. And I've made this so many times you would think I would know the recipe. It's only 3 ingredients, but I always double check. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of the chimichurri seasoning. I have probably just enough. I have another bottle. Yeah, I have another bottle hanging around in case I need it, but that was perfect. So a 1/4 cup of chimichurri seasoning. Then we're gonna add, usually I use olive oil. I didn't realize I was out. So we're gonna use vegetable oil, and then I'll be able to compare the difference. We're gonna do a 1/3 cup. You wanna make this at least 30 minutes before you're ready to eat it. It needs time to bloom. So it's just dehydrated seasonings, and so it needs time to kind of rehydrate a little bit. So we're gonna put the oil in here and 2 tablespoons of water. 2 tablespoons of water. And we're just gonna mix this and just let it sit. Of all the years, 25 years of selling Pampered Chef seasonings, I'm telling you that there is nothing that packs the flavor quite like the chimichurri. From the very first time I made this, I was like, we have to have this in big bottles. It was in like a taste buds box. It was like I don't know if it was holiday or summer. I think it was a summer taste buds box. And I was like, how can I get more of this? Because it is so good. So I hope you'll try that. All right, so we have our last 2 cups of chicken, and I'm gonna add this everything taco seasoning. All of my seasonings are like almost empty, so we'll see if I need to add a little bit more. I'm not gonna add any liquid to this. I'm gonna add a little bit more seasoning. We're gonna add some salsa and some cheese to this. Now, like I said, I measure with my heart. You need a couple tablespoons to season up 2 cups. All right, sidebar, this is boiling. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add in the tomatoes and the corn. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I think you can still see me, yeah. All right, so we're gonna add the corn. And then I'm gonna stir in the chicken. And I use the Carnitas slow cooker seasoning. So if you're like, what's the difference between taco seasoning and Carnitas? They are just a little bit different flavor. They're both great, but I like to just kind of change up the flavors a little bit. I go back and forth between those two. All right, I thought I had I did, is it hiding? Yeah, here it is. This salsa is almost empty, so we're gonna see if I need more. I told you, everything is like on empty. I had to have like a backup for so many things handy. So I have another jar of salsa if we need it, but I'm gonna try to get, yeah, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more salsa. And then we're gonna add the cheese in just a second. But let me show you our jar opener. So this jar opener will open jars with a little lid, like as small as a nail polish bottle, or as wide as like a big jar of pickles. So I love the jar opener. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit more. And these are not the same brand, but it's okay. All right. Okay, just trying not to make this messy because I'm gonna need that at the end to cut our quesadillas. Let's see if I can keep it clean. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our salad choppers. So for this recipe, I do want the chicken chopped. So I'm gonna chop this chicken right in this 3-cup prep bowl. The prep bowls come as a set of 3. You get a 1 cup, a 2 cup, and a 3 cup in the set. Our grill should be heated up soon. I feel like it's been 5 minutes, but maybe it has not. We're gonna chop this. There we go. That was pretty close, right? All right. I'm gonna chop this up, and then I'm gonna add our cheese. By the way, if you didn't know this, oh, it's must be in my dish strainer over there. Our little dual-sided cleaning brush is perfect for cleaning out the sides of this here. And we're gonna add our cheese. So this time I'm gonna use the Colby Jack. And you can use whatever kind of cheese you like. You could even use pepper jack. So I'm gonna mix this up. And then we're gonna make these tortillas. So we've got about 3 cups of mixture now, and I'm just going to show you how to make one, and Keith or Christian will eat it tonight, and then the rest will go in the fridge, and then we can fill quesadillas before we grill them. And I like to serve these with sour cream and the chimichurri that I talked about. You can mix the chimichurri in to this mixture if you want, but we like to top it with the chimichurri. All right, let's see if I can open my grill. There we go. I'm gonna take, you can do this a couple of ways. You can take 2 tortillas, put one flat, put the mixture on the top, and put another one, or you can fold them in half. So since I'm only gonna do one, because I don't wanna cook more than is gonna be eaten tonight, I'm just gonna put, again, I measure with my heart, however you like your, however full you like these. I'm just filling like one side, and then I'm gonna fold it in half like this. And if you use the big tortillas, then you just get bigger. Now I'm just doing one. I'm gonna slide this down, press the button to start. I should have set it for 2 minutes since I'm only gonna show you guys one. So I'll keep an eye on that. And let's see, what else was I going to tell you? I'm gonna turn my soup down and give it a little stir. And for the soup, I love serving that with sour cream. I love sour cream on anything Mexican food. So if you like Mexican food, I definitely recommend that you try the chimichurri, add some sour cream. We've got all 4 recipes ready. I'm looking around to make sure I didn't forget anything. I did pre-shred all the cheese just for time's sake, and I think we're doing really great on time because we're almost finished now. This is our adjustable coarse grater, and this is what I used on the cheese. So you slide this piece up and you put your block of cheese in there, and it just keeps it keeps you from cutting your fingers, right? So I'm gonna slide that. Okay, I'm gonna let it get a little bit more brown, so anywhere from 1 minute to 2 minutes, depending on how brown you want it. Then I'm gonna take our whisk tongs, I'm gonna take it off the grill, put it on our cutting mat, and actually I'm gonna use a cutting board since it's hot. Some of my mixture's coming out, it's sizzling. All right, so that's perfect. I'm gonna press cancel. Oops, let's see, get that off. Maybe. There we go. All right, and then I'm done with this. I'm actually gonna turn it off so that it'll start cooling down. And when you're ready to serve these, and the reason I use a hard cutting board instead of the flexible is just because it's hot. I didn't want to add any extra flexing to those. I do put my flexible cutting mats in the dishwasher. As long as you make them straight on the bottom rack and they're not like bent, they're gonna come out straight. And you don't have, they're gonna come out flat, so you don't have to worry about them. So you can cut these in half, or if you have the big tortillas, you can cut them into fourths. But this is an easy way to make chicken quesadillas. So let me make sure there's nothing else I meant to tell you guys about. If you're interested in hosting a party with me in the month of July, hosts in July are gonna be able to get an extra $100 in free product credit, and I'll do my best to help you get that, and 60% off any item or set in the catalog. So reach out to me. You can use the same link that I posted at the top to do that. I'm gonna open the chat and I'm gonna see what questions you guys have. So stay tuned. Turn this down some more because it's still boiling over there. All right, let me make sure the volume is down. Okay, perfect. I've got the chat. So this is your time to ask me all the questions. So the first question I see, all the recipes are already listed. Actually, if you scroll to the top of the chat, then you should see the link. If you don't see that, I will make sure to post it. If you pre-registered for the event, you've already got the link in a text message from me. You can click that link and all the recipes are there. So yes, you can use the can opener with cans that have the pull top, and I recommend using them if they have a pull top because you're going to scratch up and scrape up your scrapers because if you pull the top, then it leaves a jagged edge. You could still cut yourself. So let's see. Yes, Linda, I'm assuming your question about the frozen mixed vegetables is for the chicken pot pie. And I will tell you that almost always when I make that recipe, I use frozen mixed vegetables. But tonight I wanted to make it as close to what my mom's recipe is. I can't get veg all at Aldi. And so typically I just use frozen mixed vegetables. So I've definitely done that. Let's see. I'm just checking for questions here. Let's see. I love reading all these comments from where everybody is watching from. I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget any questions. I felt really bad that the last one I actually missed somebody's question. So, Cheryl, yes, if you freeze the pot pie, you do want to defrost it before baking it, and especially if you're freezing it in a piece of stoneware. That stoneware does need to also be a little bit closer to room temperature, or at least refrigerated before you put it in the oven. If you take stoneware from any one extreme to another, it will crack, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So, oh, Susan, so to prepare the pot pie for the freezer, all I would do is, and probably what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to I'll probably cover it in plastic wrap first and then foil, just so that it's nice and sealed up before I cook it. Let's see. No bottom crust on this one. My mom doesn't use a bottom crust, but I usually put a bottom crust, so you could do either one. And Lisa said she prefers the barbecue chips instead of plain chips on the chicken chip bake. She's made my mom's recipe quite a few times. So, and I guess this is, I'm not sure who asked this. Let's see, Deborah Pitts maybe. Add peas and carrots and what other veggies. So if you're talking about the chicken pot pie, you can use whatever vegetables you like. Frozen or canned is going to be just fine. And the store and serves are plastic, and all of our plastic products are BPA free. So I think I answered 2 questions at once there. Let's see. Are you guys excited about how much you can do in such a short period of time? It took about 36 minutes for me to put 4 recipes together. I did some prep work ahead of time, but I would say you could easily do all 4 recipes in an hour when you're using that fully cooked rotisserie chicken. So, and yes, prep is the key, Roberta, so I love that. Yes, it's almost a whole week's worth of meals. And so it really is, because unless you just don't have leftovers, we almost always have a little bit of leftovers. So somebody or 2 of us will get an extra meal out of it. Let's see. The chimichurri seasoning is not spicy. Like, I wouldn't consider it spicy at all. So I hope that you'll try it. I love that. Okay, Lisa just added chimichurri is not spicy and they add red pepper flakes. So I'm going to try that now, Lisa. Thank you. You always give me such great ideas. And I'm not Happy Place Gal said, how about the guac too? I don't know if she's asking if that is spicy, but the guacamole is not spicy. The cheese grater has been upgraded. They did make it easier for you to open and close on this one. So you'll notice that there is just a pull down button where before you had to press and squeeze. So for this one, you just pull that button and you can open and close it. So I hope that that's helpful to see. Laurie finally used her rice cooker this week. She loved it and used it twice. So Connor has got to where he makes rice when he wants it. And so he loves the rice cooker, which is the 3-quart micro cooker. Let's see. Ron, I'm so excited that you're excited about the recipe, and I hope that you will try them all. The smaller rock crock. So Bonnie, this is a complicated question. She asked, could the smaller rock crock fit in the slow cooker base? We have had 2 smaller rock crocks, so it depends on which one you're talking about. Right now, currently, the only size we sell is the Dutch oven. But Bonnie, if you flip over your rock crock and you look on the bottom, it's going to tell you what size. If it says 2.5 quart, you can put it in the base. If you have the one that was even smaller, it was more narrow. It's a 2-quart. It's the same depth as the Dutch oven, but it was more narrow. That one cannot be used in the base. So I hope that that helps answer your question. And Susan, when I make the chicken pot pie with frozen vegetables, I don't usually thaw them out. And frozen vegetables are okay to bake in the stoneware. If I add a bottom crust to the chicken pot pie, I don't pre-bake it at all. I put the crust in, put the mixture on the top, and then add the top crust. Let's see. Kathy, you can buy the store and serve containers separately. However, I feel like they're a little bit pricey on their own. I think they're $25 for each container. It does come with the divider, the little strainer insert, but the whole store and serve set is like $99, and you get the cooling, like the ice packs and the tray. And so I recommend that if anybody wants those, just buy the store and serve set. I actually have 2 of them. So I've asked for them to be sold. It's more or less a replacement part when you buy them individually. So hopefully they'll add them as a separate one. So Kimberly asked if the recipes are good for the freezer meals and how long will it stay good in the freezer. So I would say the general rule, for me anyways, is if I'm putting it in a regular freezer, like the fridge freezer combo, 3 months. If you're putting something in a deep freezer, I think you can keep it about 6 months. So my mom may chime in later and tell us if she has done them longer. So yes, Marcella, the July Post specials. In July, you can earn an extra $100 for free and 60% off any item or set. I'm going to turn that off. In the month of July. So if you're ready to do your party, Marcella, just send me a text and I'll reach out to you tomorrow. So Meg asked if you can use the salad choppers for chopped salad. I assume you're asking about these that I use on the chicken for the quesadillas, and the answer is yes. I use them on salad ingredients all the time. Let's see. Marla, I'm sorry, you're an hour and a half from Sam's. Maybe you can find another store. I know Walmart sells rotisserie chickens. I assume Costco does too. Let's see. Any other questions? Pop them in the chat because I'm almost to the end. And Marcella, I have done a demo with the indoor-outdoor grill, but I probably won't be grilling outside. You might see my little charm. I have a fan going all the time. I don't think I could cook in the Florida heat outside, so probably not outside, but I will keep that in mind. Let's see. Okay, so Cheryl, I don't have the customer special for July in front of me, and I don't want to tell you wrong. And Susan, if you freeze the casserole and you're going to defrost it, I would just let it completely defrost. So take it out the day before, put it in the fridge, and it should be completely defrosted. I would not recommend cooking it frozen, even partially frozen, just because you want to make sure that it all cooks completely through. I had a couple of requests for the recipes, so I'm going to grab that link really quickly and I'm going to post it in the chat again because I think some of you guys aren't finding it, and I don't know if it's not showing that my comments before we started for some reason. So I'm going to just post the link again in the chat if I can get it to open up again. Hang on, my phone isn't cooperating. I left. Okay, so recipes and shopping link. They're in one link here, so you can access all of it if you click that link. And if you pre-registered, you received a text message about 5 minutes before I went live, and it also has that link in there as well. So hopefully you guys got that link. Let's see. Barb asked how many quesadillas would this mixture make? So I only used maybe a quarter cup for that, and I had almost 3 cups of mixture. So it really depends on how thick you're wanting to make them and how big the tortillas are. This would feed my family probably 1 meal, meaning like everybody probably would have, you know, 1 full quesadilla, and my husband would probably have 2. So that's a good estimate for what I have here. I hope that that helps answer your question. So, all right, I'm not sure if I missed anyone. If I did, feel free to text me. The link to text me is also in that link that I just shared with the recipes. So I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I always look around a little bit just to make sure I haven't left anything out. But again, the prize winners for tonight, Carolyn Smith, you'll be getting the Taste Buds box. Elizabeth Capuano will be getting 2 soup mixes, the tortilla and the minestrone. And then if there's anyone interested in starting their own Pampered Chef business, I have a 25% off coupon for 1 person. Feel free to text me and let me know if you would like that. If there's more than 1 request for that, I will put everybody's name in a drawing and give that to 1 lucky person who's ready to start a business. So I will let you guys know when the next event will be. I've had so much positive feedback from this. So if you have enjoyed this, I hope that you will continue to let me know that. My plan for now is I'm going to try to do this once a month. And right now it tends to look like it's going to be closer to the end of the month. So I know I gave you guys short notice this time. I had a family member who had a surgery and they're doing really well, so I didn't need to go to Georgia. And so I was just trying to kind of wait to make sure that I knew I was going to be in town to do this before I shared the date. So I'll try to give you more notice next month, and I'll keep you posted on that. If you have ideas, things that you would like for me to feature during the videos, let me know, as long as they're not outside, Marcella. I like to stay in my air-conditioned kitchen with the fan. But if you have other ideas, please let me know, and I hope that you enjoyed this. The best thing you can do for me is to share my videos and my recipes, invite your friends to my recipe community. That is a great thing that you can do for me. So if you have any questions, let me know, but don't forget, if you shop tonight, you double your chances in the drawing to win the deluxe coffee machine. And if you don't shop tonight, you still have until the 25th to get your orders in, and I'll announce the winner for the coffee machine after the 25th. So thank you guys so much for joining me.